Hi, Adam.
Hi.
Hi, Josh. So we just installed you installed your show.
I did.
I'm not supposed to have favorite artists, but I will say that you install everything perfectly, and I just don't even offer an opinion. So thank you for that.
Oh, happy.
No hate on anybody else, obviously, but so thanks for taking a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about how and when you first knew you were an artist.
I guess I've always been an artist. Like when I was a kid, I drew all the time. I never really thought about what I wanted to do professionally until basically when I got into college. And I had applied for chemistry somewhere, and then I applied to art school and just decided art school was far enough away from home and parents, and still close enough to home if I needed to get there. Once I got into art school, probably around my junior year of college, I realized this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Right. So.
And your characters are so distinctly you. And I know that they came into being when you were at CCAD.
Right around the same time, junior year of college.
Yeah. And so in your own words, can you describe them a little bit for us and sort of talk about whether they each have personalities, or they're sort of, I mean, it's amazing to me that you're able to capture emotion with really what is a series of ovals or small circles. There aren't facial expressions, but you feel them through their posture. So are they real characters with identities, or just tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of started like when I was in college, the early part of college. I was making a lot of work that I thought people wanted, that would be more arty. But I was listening to a lot of teachers say, like, you should be making things that are authentic to yourself. And growing up, I watched Calvin and Hobbes and cartoons and ate cereal and played Legos. And I realized that I was making work that wasn't authentic to me, that I was trying to be more arty than I was. And so I started going back to look at a lot of those cartoon characters that I enjoyed. I looked at things I drew when I was a kid, tried to figure out what made me happy. And originally they started off just as like stick figures, a body, a head, two eyes, and stick arms and legs. And I spent a lot of time learning how to manipulate those few parts and figure out how to create emotion with them. I started realizing that a lot of people, especially, cartoons are prevalent in society now, so a lot of people can understand how those cartoons speak. And so I started figuring out how to manipulate them. Eventually they got costumes, they got fingers, they got mouths, they started yelling, some are still quiet. And a lot of it is just trial and error over almost 20 years now of me just, trying to figure out how do I make them convey different emotions. And then per each piece, like figuring out what emotions are there and how to, these characters relate to these characters. When are they smart? When are they derpy? When are they, happy? When are they sad?
Derpy.
Yeah.
We've all been derpy.
Yeah,
on occasion.
He's kind of not the brightest star.
I love it. So some people who will be watching this video, I hope, obviously know that you're an artist and it's very visual, and right now with social media, they can see all of that, but you do so much else to support and promote other artists, and in particular, establishing shows like the one that was just up in Mansfield. And I'm curious, and I sometimes call you the Robin Hood of the Columbus art scene because you're always doing for others, which is fabulous. But how do you manage your time and decide? I mean, I'm suggesting you could only paint and sell paintings around the world, but you spend so much of your time running Block Fort and supporting others. So how do you figure out how to manage your time?
Yeah, I guess part of my reasoning for those, what you're calling Robin Hood activities, is that I think of art as a very selfish thing. And even though you're making art and you're, putting it out in the world and other people are enjoying it, like, I don't make art for other people necessarily. I make it because it's something I have that I want to say, that I want to do. I'm fortunate enough to have people that like what I make and want to support it by purchasing it or showing it. but I always wanted to make sure that I was doing other things to balance out that selfishness, spend time on myself, but then, I want to be involved in a community. I want Columbus to get better. I want the art scene here to do well. And I think that just comes from like realizing that if I just do for myself, then I'm only helping myself. And if you do for the rest of the world, then you're helping the rest of the world.
A different sense of fulfillment.
Right. And balancing out the time, I don't know how I do that.
I don't either.
I don't know that I do that. I sometimes I feel consumed by public work. Sometimes I feel consumed by my own work. And I guess it just goes on feeling. When I start feeling like I've been doing too much of one thing, I can swing back to the other and find balance that way.
Switch gears as it happens. Well, I think, I'm certainly lucky to have met you, and Columbus is lucky to have you. How are you feeling about Columbus right now with the upcoming, what we believe to be a growth surge in population, and what you're seeing with galleries and artists? I know you've been here a while, so it's changing, but are you feeling optimistic?
Yeah, I always tend to feel optimistic. I feel like the last maybe 5 or 6 years in Columbus have been a weird growth spurt where we're sort of like an awkward, gangly teenager right now, and
derpy.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out like what we want to be and how we want to be, and again, maybe some of that goes into those Robin Hood activities also, where if I want Columbus to be a certain way, I have to make it that way. I have to be an active participant. Otherwise, whatever moves in, the people that move in or the people that take control of things are gonna guide that for us. And if you liken it to, like, say, the Short North neighborhood and people saying, oh, it's not what it used to be. Well, yeah, it's not what it used to be, but if you like the things that it used to be, continue to support and be active on those things. And
how do you keep what's good and build on it?
Right.
And know that there are probably, like, some of the feel is probably going to change a little bit, but it doesn't have to be a full swing to a
not
negative.
Being afraid of the change. I think too many people like they just, oh, it's different, I hate it. Like, how do you access all the new people that are moving to town and say, hey, come join us. This is the Columbus way we do things. This is how our art scene works. Like, support local artists. Don't just go buy work at Target or IKEA. And unless you are, again, an active participant in trying to convince people of something and show people that there is a Columbus way and there is a great art scene here.
We talked a lot about what's happening in Columbus and the growth, and I'm still a pretty young, new gallery owner, but I kind of just see it as the pie getting bigger. And I get excited too. I'm like, more people living in Columbus is a potential for more people buying art and supporting more artists. And what's better than that?
Yeah.
So
a mentor of mine said all the time, rising tide raises all ships. And I do believe that, not every art space will be even something that I like. But that's not the point. The point is that there are more art spaces and
more options.
Right. I'd rather know that there are art spaces that offer different things to all different kinds of people and support those, and then recognize that I have to work on my part of that. But again, the diversity and the growth is not a bad thing.
No, it's great. Okay, so here's the fun part, the speed round.
Okay.
I ask questions, first thing that pops in your head. Okay, what is your favorite word?
Leviathan.
Derpy. What?
I like the word Leviathan.
What is your least favorite word?
I don't know.
Okay, pass. You can pass.
Yeah.
What turns you on? You can pass again. You can get 2 passes.
I'll pass again.
Okay. What turns you off?
People with dirty fingernails.
Okay, we're good. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Yeah. We don't have to beep it because, whatever. It's my social media channel. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I think I'd like to be a scientist or an anthropologist.
Something in the science field.
I mean, studying history and how it pieces together, or studying how things work.
Yeah.
I'd probably make a good engineer too. I just like studying how things work.
And sometimes you casually watch documentaries on
Yeah.
mythology.
Or like the history of cooking around the world, which I watched a 60-part documentary on.
Okay. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would love to be able to like hear him say that I've done an okay job.
Great.
Like it doesn't even have to be a resounding like you were the best person. Just like
Good enough.
You did okay.
Good.
You got in.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Speed round's hard.
I was like, I ask the same questions every time.
The other thing that's weird is I'm a very visual thinker.
Yeah, so
you're
you're like,
what turns you on? I'm like, I can't say any of these.
not PG.
This is bad. Like,